People like to say that college is the most fun time of your life, that you'll meet all these new lasting friends, you'll learn so much, you'll have so much fun, you'll party, you'll have new experiences. But I gotta be honest with you guys, college sucked. And not just because of the school. I am not really a school person. Like, I kind of hate school. I've always hated it. Like, I hated high school. I hated middle school. I just like hated.
Stop playing with things, okay?
But that's not even what I'm talking about here. I'm just saying the overall experience of college, I hated it. I hate that I hated it because I feel like it's really common to hear that college is like the best time of your life and the most like exciting, fun time. You're young, you're away from your parents, especially like if I have a therapy appointment tomorrow and it's gonna be my first therapy in like kind of a long time. So I figured why not just get into a mental health related video, dig up some of these memories. So yeah, so like a lot of people, I stayed in a dorm for my first year of college, and I kind of went into dorm life with a lot of expectations, and I expected basically new potential friends all around me. I expected to hang out with people, I expected to party. Basically, I expected to have a really fun experience in the dorms. Of course, I knew there would be schoolwork and stuff, but honestly, that was kind of secondary in my brain. I was like ready to meet new people, make new friends, like live life basically. And that is not what happened. I went into college life with a lot of expectations, I think because of things that I had heard other people say. Like when I was in high school and most of my friends were going off to college, they would say things like, oh, I can't wait for college, I can't wait to party, I can't wait to meet new people, like we're all gonna make so many friends. I don't know, I feel like you hear it everywhere, that college is gonna be fun. Looking back, if I didn't go in with such high expectations, I think maybe things could have been a little bit different. But I did. I went in with the highest of expectations and I was met with a very harsh reality. Basically, I didn't make any friends. I spent pretty much every night alone in my dorm. I mean, with my roommate too. But she had a similar experience, even though she kind of did make some friends, but she definitely had like a pretty similar experience to me, and that definitely helped to know that I wasn't like completely 100% alone. But pretty much like I didn't party on the weekends. Lucky for me, my brother went to the same college as me, so he would invite me to the parties that he would go to, the parties that he would have at his house with his friends. Every like, I would say maybe every 3 or 4 weekends he would invite me, and when I went over there I had a lot of fun because those were like the few times that I would socialize basically. Like every other weekend was me alone in my dorm. If not for having a brother that went to the same school, it would have been every single weekend, every single night. I would not have left my dorm room. And I tried really hard to focus on school. I tried to be like, well, whatever, I don't need to make friends. I'm going to school, so let's, focus on school. And you could say that's a good thing because, like, I mean, you are supposed to learn, you are supposed to focus on your studies. It's better than the polar opposite of that, which is like partying way too much and just throwing your grades out the window. But deep in my heart, I knew that I didn't care that much about school. I wanted new friends, really. And it hurt to realize that I wasn't capable of making any. I mean, I did make I made like a few friends, people that I would like see every now and then, but I never had anyone to hit up and be like,
what are we gonna do tonight?
Me getting invited to tag along with someone else or someone else's group was a pretty rare occasion. And looking back, it's not that big of a deal. Like, just get through it, do your studies, like move on. But at the time, it was a big deal. I really wanted new friends and I didn't get them. And it seems like everyone else had them. It seems like everyone else was going out on weekends and was making new friends and talking to new people and having all these experiences that I wasn't having, and it made me very depressed. I had definitely felt sad and like anxious and depressed in my life before, but I would honestly say I think this first year of college, it hit me the hardest, because even when I was depressed in high school, there was still a little glimmer of hope of like, well, I'm gonna go to college one day, like I'm gonna do something one day, I'm gonna do this one day. I felt some sort of hope. But when I got to college and that first year, I was so incredibly alone and lonely. My high school friends who went to other colleges would share their stories with me about their new friends and parties they went to and like new people they hooked up with or whatever, and I was just so not in a world like that at all. My world in college consisted of my own head and my little dorm room, and that was pretty much it. And that mentality pretty much continued for the whole of my college experience, which I was in college for 5 years, and things did get better that 5th year for me, but the first 4 years, they sucked. They really sucked. I'm gonna be honest. For 2 years, for my sophomore and junior year, I was in a room in a house. And those 2 years held some of the worst times in my life in terms of my mental health. It was like I had my own room in a house full of people that I didn't really hang out with that much. Maybe like sometimes on weekends or whatever, but very rarely. Like I would come home from school and I would just go to my room, and that wasn't the fault of anyone else. That was just me, being my introverted self. It was really hard for me to reach out and get to know people better, so I really stayed in my own little shell. And there's so much to say, honestly, about these 2 years. I don't know exactly how to talk about them, because I did some really bad things to myself. I was basically so in my own head and in my own loneliness. I didn't have any friends for most of this time. I had friends every once in a while that would kind of come and go out of my life. Never like best friends, never like any group of friends or anything like that. Just like people that would come by the house and visit the other roommates. I would sometimes make friends with them and we would hang out like whenever they happened to be over, but I never had anyone that I could like text out of the blue and be like, hey, let's go meet somewhere. I mean, I guess I could have, looking back on it, I could have like really tried, but I was not in a state of wanting to try. I was so sad and I was so shy and I was so in my head all the time that I didn't really make an effort. I have never been the type to speak up in class. I never raised my hand in class. If I was forced to like talk in a small group, I would barely speak. I was very quiet in class. So making friends in class was kind of pretty much impossible, especially like in a big lecture. But even in like a small discussion class, I never made friends in any of those classes, just because that's really difficult for me to do. And so I wasn't talking to anyone in my classes, and I wasn't talking to anyone in my social life. So I remember there would be like periods of time where I'd be like, wow, I haven't used my voice in weeks. I haven't heard my own voice in weeks. It's crazy that I just didn't speak for so long. A lot of the times I would hear my roommates partying downstairs, playing super loud music, having fun, and I was just locked away in my room, being too shy to go down and join them, but also being sad that everyone else was having fun but me. And maybe rightfully so, I blamed myself for all of this. I blamed myself for being so shy, for not being able to make friends like everyone else. I told myself that there was something wrong with me. I really started to hate myself. Like true self-hatred. If you felt that before, you know what I'm talking about. You know what that feels like. It's really shitty. It really is. It can get you into some very dangerous, dark mindsets. A lot of the times there were things to get me through it. Like if I was watching a series that I was really into, I could look forward to watching that every night. Or if I was really obsessed with something on YouTube, I could look forward to watching those videos after class and stuff like that. But when I didn't feel any passion for anything at all, this is hard to talk about. I felt very empty and very bad. Empty and bad. I'm very descriptive.
Wow.
Quick trigger warning, I guess, for just like anything bad. I'm stupid. I'm not stupid. I'm just trying my best. Okay, quick like trigger warning for just, I don't know. I was self-harming a ton. I was so low energy and just low everything that reaching out for help wasn't really an option. I didn't even know like where to start with that. I didn't even know like what to do. Even though at my university they had a program for mental health, and when I finally did eventually reach out and make that call to the health center at my school, it wasn't till I was already kind of on the rise a little bit. When I was so like deep down in my bad thoughts, there was no saving me. There was no way to reach out. Like, I don't know if that makes sense to anyone else. I don't know if other people have like the strength and the like sort of maturity, I guess, to like talk about their problems and like reach out when they're in like the darkest possible place. But for me, I just didn't have any motivation to get better. I was like almost weirdly like kind of embarrassed or like uncomfortable to talk about really dark things, and I saw myself as messed up and like too much. I didn't see mental health in the way that I should have, if that makes any sense. Like, you can talk about it without being ashamed like I'm doing now. I did not know that back then. During my senior year of college, I moved into the basement of that house. That made things better. However, I was still very deep in my sadness. On my 21st birthday, my brother had to take me out to bars because I didn't have any friends. We got home before midnight. He went to sleep because he had a class the next day, and I went to sleep early. I didn't have a crazy night, but I am grateful that he was there and that I didn't have to spend my 21st birthday completely by myself. Speaking of birthdays, most of my birthdays in college just sucked. 19th and my 20th birthday, I think I spent both of those alone in my room, probably crying. I did make one friend that I would hang out with on the weekend and just like talk to sometimes, and that was nice, but it certainly didn't save me. And he wasn't even someone that went to my school or that I met through anything school related. I was walking home and we just like ran into each other. So yeah, that one basically had nothing to do with me being in college. I just met that guy and we became friends. I was still very, very sad, but I was a little bit less sad than I had been. I decided it was time to reach out for help, and I finally called the school mental health center, and I got an appointment and got a therapist. And that was the first time that I talked about my problems at all. Like, all of this that I'm telling you right now, all of the feelings that I had just been pouring into journals on journals on journals and never speaking a word of out loud. And that's when I was diagnosed with depression, anxiety, eventually ADD as well. And from there, I went through different therapists and different stuff. But basically, the way that I was able to reach out for help was because my school had a program that was meant for that. I went on like the school website and I found the page mental health services, and I just like figured out how to do it. They had like detailed instructions, like you have to call this number and then they'll make an appointment, and then this and this and this. And that was a huge help, even though it took me years to do it when I should have done it so much earlier. And although I like talking about my feelings, and it helps to get things off my chest. Therapy didn't save me, although it was the beginning of my healing process. The summer in between my 4th and 5th year of college was a big step. I don't remember exactly how it happened, but I ended up telling my mom about, my depression, and she got me an appointment with her doctor, and I ended up going on medication for depression, and I also ended up seeing a psychiatrist and going on medication for ADD. And I have a whole video on this channel about my experience with ADD because that's a huge topic that affected my life in a huge way. So I'll link that video or something. But basically, things looked up for me a lot when I started medication. Then I went back to college for my 5th year, and things were okay. I still had my sad moments for sure. I got my own apartment for my 5th year, and that was the best decision ever for me because I got to do whatever I wanted with it. I had my own space to come home to. I put a stripper pole in the living room. It was great. I was taking less classes because I pretty much just had to catch up on credits in order to graduate. So I was just taking, all the extra credits that I needed to have enough credits at the end of the year to graduate. So I was on the medication, both of them at this point, and I decided to take a huge step, which was getting a Tinder and eventually meeting up with one person from Tinder who is now my boyfriend of almost 2 years. But that was a huge thing for me to go meet up with a stranger. A year before, 2 years before, 3 years before, I would have never dared to do that. That was so far out of my comfort zone. But honestly, because of the meds, I feel like I was able to make that decision. I was in therapy. My 5th year really wasn't so bad. That was the only year of my college that was actually okay, and it had nothing to do with the college experience. My boyfriend didn't go to my college, he just happened to live in the town. That one friend that I made the year prior didn't go to that college, he just happened to live in the town again. So I never made any friends, any lasting friends that actually went to my school. Every once in a while, I would find myself at a frat party simply because that house that I lived in before was full of frat bros. So every once in a while, I would find myself at a fratty function, but I never really had fun at those. Basically, the college experience introduced me to the deepest and darkest parts of myself that I've ever known. And ever since, I've been in the process of recovery. And I just want to add really quick that I'm not blaming college for my own mental health. I'm not blaming anything external because when it comes down to it, depression, anxiety, and ADD are probably in my DNA. I probably would have had this same experience if I did something else instead of going to college, This was just how my college experience was. And I'm just telling you that story. At the time that I was going through all of this, it definitely seemed like I was the only one. It definitely felt like I was the only person that was having a college experience that was very bad and sad and friendless. It seemed like everyone I met did have friends and was partying and having a good college time. And not to mention all of the music I would hear from various houses and my own house, the parties I would see and hear about. It just seemed like I was surrounded by people that were having fun and I was the only one that wasn't. But that's probably not the case. There had to be other people like me, right? I couldn't have been the only one. If there's anyone out there that's having a similar experience now, you're the person that I'm making this video for. I want to help you, and I want to tell you that you're not alone at all. College doesn't have to be the most fun of your life. Just because you're young and whatever, just learn your stuff, and you can have fun at any time in your life. There doesn't have to be a set time that's supposed to be the most fun time of your life. You know what irks me even more than people saying that college is the most fun? People that say high school is the most fun time of your life.
Bitch, what?
I hated high school. Like, I could not wait to get out of that place. It was a nightmare. I don't think I know anyone that genuinely, like, loved high school. Anyways, that's a bit of a tangent, not what this video is about. Probably most people have a pretty good college experience. I mean, college comes with hardships no matter what. Like, actual school can be very hard depending on your major, but it's often a lot of work. And being away from family can be a struggle. The stress of getting good grades, you know, like all that stuff. College for the average person probably isn't sunshine and rainbows, but it seemed like the average college student was making friends and having a good college time outside of actual academics. This is for the small portion of people who don't feel that way and didn't experience it that way. Maybe they're going through it right now as I speak. Maybe you didn't go to college and you just feel depressed or something like that, and you could relate to some of the things I say in here. I don't know. I just wanted to tell you that the years go by fast and you don't have to think that your life is over because you're having a miserable time when you think you should be having fun. There is no time when you should be having fun. Like, you'll have fun when you have fun. Live your life in your own way. And if you can get through this time that's hard, you'll have good times later in life. I've never hit rock bottom the way that I did in college, and I'm very grateful for that. My life isn't all fixed and better and perfect now by any means, but after college, I've had a lot of experiences that I never thought I would have had and I would not want to miss out on. And I'm happy that I didn't end my life. And that's a weird thing for me to say. I missed out on a lot of potentially fun experiences because of being so shy and so sad. I hated college, but it's over now. I'm still young. I'm 23. I can still have fun. I don't need to be in college. That being said, if you are feeling really bad and you have depression, or you suspect that you have depression or anxiety or any mental illness really, I would really encourage you to try to reach out to a therapist or something. Maybe you need to be on a certain medication, or maybe you just need to talk to someone. Believe me, I thought that I would never reach out to get professional help. I thought that was completely out of the question, completely impossible, beyond the realm of anything I could even comprehend when I was at the lowest point of my depression. And I'm just telling you, if I can do it, you can do it too, trust me. So yeah, I'm glad that I finished college, got that degree, and now I want nothing to do with college ever again. I would not relive it. So yeah, subscribe if you want. This channel is a mess. Sometimes I make beauty videos, sometimes I make random videos about whatever topic that comes to my mind, and right now it's mental health. And I kind of want to turn this into a series because I have a lot of mental health stories. So if you want, leave some questions down below, anything mental health related, and I can make a whole video answering your guys' questions. Or just tell me your college experience down below maybe. Or tell me whatever you want. I don't know. Send me a message on Instagram if you want. I'll link that below. So yeah, I hope everyone's having an awesome day. I'm here to talk to you if you need. So yeah, bye.